With the final few hours of campaigning left, have voters decided? And if they have not, what will sway them as they go to the polling centres tomorrow? Let's bring in political analyst Mujibu Abd Muis. Hi Mujibu, thank you so much for being here. It's so nice to finally see you in person.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me here, Farhana.
Now, so fresh off Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi's speech and also Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin's speeches, reiterating the promise and pledges by Barisan Nasional, also Perikatan Nasional. What do you make of this announcement, so close to polling day, a few hours left to campaigning? And do you think they will be able to sway the voters who are still undecided?
Yeah, I think this is the last minute attempt from each and every them to give some personal touch on their messages in order to lure, especially when we are having kind of wild voters, especially when they are very last minute decision in deciding who's going to receive their vote for tomorrow. So I think it is a very good and clever attempt, simply because we simply see throughout 2 weeks of campaigning, it is very unlikely for them to reach out as many as possible. And of course, when you talk about an election, personal touch to convince the voters, especially the new and young voters, need to be done in order to get their attention and attract votes towards their party.
Now, drawing on that a little bit, Mujibu, GE15 has been coined as the battle for the Malay voters. What is your assessment of the campaigning for the past 2 weeks, especially for Malay voters?
Yeah, I agree with the situation where the battleground for Malay voters will be the core of this GE15, simply because this is the first time we can simply see Barisan Nasional, especially UMNO, really face some tough challenges when this Perikatan Nasional form between PAS and Bersatu, which is really can steal the Malay votes, and of course it depends on how many votes that they can steal from each other. And if this happens, PH will stand a chance to win that particular thing. And of course, when you talk about PH stronghold in majority non-Malay seats, especially in urban and suburban area, this is very, very, very tricky in terms of if no party reach to that particular 112 numbers tomorrow. So whoever's going to have the upper hand in dealing with any parties in order to form the government, that party need to have a majority Malay seats in order to get at least a stable government for a certain period of time.
Yeah, that's definitely my next question for you, which is, who will be the next coalition to form the government, right? So Ilham Center has projected that PH to be the biggest bloc so far, with BN and PN in the second place and third place. What configuration of government can we expect from this projection, you think?
Yeah, the problem is we already knew that each and every party have their own caveat on how they are going to form this kind of coalition. And of course, when you talk about PH, DAP will be the biggest problem of PH. And of course, disdaining DAP from PH is like you are cutting them into a half. And of course, nobody is going to give you that particular numbers if you are cutting a big party, let's say winning like a maximum 90 seats out of 222 tomorrow. And of course, you have another possibility of retaining the status quo in having the Perikatan Nasional and Barisan Nasional plus GPS to form the government. But somehow you need to understand that the caveat between Barisan Nasional UMNO not having any possible cooperation with Bersatu is highly what we call, it is a deadlock between this particular discussion between them. So, but I still believe that whoever command a majority seat, especially Malay seat, will have an upper hand in discussing this coalition.
Yeah, it's definitely something interesting to look at. This GE15 is quite different from last GE14. Now, looking at Sungai Buloh here, right? A PH stronghold for the past 3 terms. With PH winning, the majority in GE15, here, especially in Sungai Buloh, do you think the Khairi Jamaluddin factor will bring a win for BN this time?
Yeah, understanding how the so-called hot seat come into an action simply because there is a possibility of 2 heavyweight contesting in each other. And of course, the other possible scenario is a very heavyweight name have been put by their party to contest in a very risky constituency like Khairi Jamaluddin. And of course, if you follow closely, he have come with good narrative by giving a hope. And of course, this narrative is like sending Khairi Jamaluddin as the next prime minister, which is very good because he has disdained himself from UMNO, which is very unlikely to be voted by the fence-sitters. And of course, when you're talking about Sungai Buloh with 2,000 something majority, and of course additional new voters around 40,000, this is very good strategy for Khairi Jamaluddin to come with a good narrative. Disdaining himself from UMNO, which is very possible to be backlash by the new voters as well.
Yeah, that's definitely something that we want to look forward to this GE15.